Welcome to the Lyrically Speaking podcast, where we dissect, dig deep, and discover the lyrics to some of the most popular songs ever written. We ask, what are they really telling us? What can we learn or unlearn in some cases? I'm Louise.
And I'm Omar.
And here on the Lyrically Speaking podcast, we share our thoughts on how the broader themes from these songs relate to our real everyday lives. So if you love music, if you enjoy critical thinking and reflecting on life's bigger themes while having a laugh with friends, then this is the place for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lyrically Speaking podcast.
Blah, 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 blah. Yes, honey.
Wow. Oh no. Too much super.
Listen, I ain't from West no more.
Too much supercell for you.
I ain't from West no more, honey.
No, we need to cut it. We need to stop.
Not after Supercell. What?
Wow.
Yes, honey.
Is this how you're going on? I can't
That's
believe
how it is
it.
now. That's how it is.
Wow. Good show, though. Good show.
Things done
Good
change.
show.
Things done change.
Clearly.
Things done
Clearly.
changed.
Wow. You were really giving, what's her name? Sabrina a run for her money. Look at that.
They should have cast me.
They should have.
They should have hired me. Also, I'm legitimized because you're my friend and you're from South.
And I'm from South, so therefore
that's all I need.
That's it, really. Clearly. So
Yes.
we have another wonderful song for y'all today. As always, I'm going to go through some facts about this song. So we'll see if we can guess what song I'm talking about. So this song was made and released in 1997. The co-writers, so I'm not going to give it away, but co-writers of the track were Jermaine Dupri and Manuel Seal.
Yes, that might give it away, actually.
That might give it away.
Jermaine Dupri did a lot of work with a particular person.
He did. So this song reached number 2 on the US Billboard Hot 100, and it topped the Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart. It was a hit in several countries, including the UK, where it peaked at number 1. And this song also earned the artist a 1998 Billboard Music Award for Top R&B Single, and the artist earned their first Grammy nomination for Best Male R&B Vocal.
This person, I gave away the gender. This person was really winning in the 90s and the 2000s.
The 90s and the early noughties was this guy's time. So if you don't know who we're talking about, I'm going to give you some more clues. This person recently had a very popular Las Vegas residency, did a whole tour, has made a big old, little comeback late in there. Super Bowl. Let's not forget the Super Bowl, the nostalgic Super Bowl performance. So we're talking about none other than Usher and the song. Usher. And the song that we're going to be talking about is You Make Me Wanna. So for the kiddie bumps, you might not remember the original You Make Me Wanna, because I know there's been a remix and there's been a couple of other things, but we're going back to 97 and we're going to go to the original You Make Me Wanna. Do you remember
there's
the
a
video?
few things. Yeah, immediately. There's a few things, isn't there, OMC? Because even just the title, Can Anyone Make You Wanna Do Anything? Is this projection?
Already
is he blaming somebody else for his own decision? So there's just going to be a lot to unpack today. And I do remember the video, and it looked like he was chasing her from what I remember.
Do you remember? Yeah, exactly.
It looked like he was chasing her, looking a bit crazy as well. I think he had some strange makeup.
No, you're thinking of something else. You're thinking of
Which one is that?
You're thinking of My Way with the clowns.
Yes.
But it was that album, though. But it was that album.
Yes, it is My Way.
It's My Way.
We should do My Way. We should cover My Way. He was looking crazy.
He was looking crazy in My Way. It made me wanna. He was looking a little. If you were to do a spoof of it, it would look crazy because it was Usher. It
It
was
was
cool.
okay.
It was all right. He got
I
away
don't
with
remember
it.
it. What was it then?
He
What
was
was the
dancing
video
against the
for the...
wall with the guitar, and it was very colourful. It was like purple background. I think he had like an orange shirt on. Did he have an orange shirt or a green shirt? It was very colourful, and he had his guitar. It was just him solo, just doing bare dance moves. You know how he used to do, just
He
dance
loves to
moves
dance,
against the
doesn't he?
wall, dance
Yeah.
moves, different things. Yeah, make me wanna. That was it. So let's go into these lyrics, right? Let's get into it. So he
Let's get
says, before anything began between us, you were like my best friend. The one I used to run and talk to when me and my girl was having problems. So already.
Okay.
Already we got a bit of an issue with this. Yeah.
There is a problem.
Already. The flags, it's already there.
Do you want me to wait?
You know what? Let's wait. Let's wait a little bit.
I'll wait. I'll wait for you, Oma.
And then I'm just going to throw, after I've read these lyrics, I'm just going to throw it over to you and you can do what you need to do. So he says, you used to say it would be okay. Suggest little nice things I should do. And when I'd go home at night and lay my head down, all I seemed to think about was you. And how you make me wanna leave the one I'm with. Start a new relationship with you. This is what you do. I think about a ring and all the things that come along with it. You make me want to leave the one I'm with. Start a new relationship with you. This is what you do.
This is what you do.
I think about a ring and all the things that come along with it. You make me.
Why did you have to say with it though?
That's what he said. He said things that come
That's
along
how
with
he
it.
sings it, yeah.
You make me. You make me. Now I'm gonna go into the next verse, right? Because it goes deeper. It goes deeper. He says, now what's bad? Like it wasn't bad already. He says, now what's bad is you're the one that hooked us up, knowing it should have been you. And what's sad is that I love her, but I'm falling for you. What should I do? Should I tell my baby bye-bye? Should I do exactly what I feel inside? Because I don't want to go, don't need to stay, but I really need to get it together. Yeah, I agree, Usher. I think you really need to get it together.
A lot of confusion.
And then he goes on to say, you make me want to leave the one I'm with. So I'm just going to throw it out there, Lucas. I just found that whole thing very problematic. But I'm going to throw it over to you and let's start breaking this down.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
I think the first thing that comes out to me immediately is projection.
100%.
He's blaming this other girl or woman for his own issues and inability to have self-control. He's even blaming her for the reason he wants to leave his current woman and then asking her, what should I do?
Yeah.
Making the decision to her. I mean, when we obviously first listened to the song, I never really paid attention that much.
No,
but
you don't.
Upon now breaking down these lyrics and listening to them, the first thing is blaming this other lady for his wandering eye and not wanting to take responsibility for the fact he just needs to have some self-control.
He needs to get himself together. And you know what's worse is that not only does he blame her for his wandering eye, but he also blames her for the fact that he chose to be in a relationship with the other woman. He's like, you hooked us up, but you knew it. You hooked us up, but you knew it should have been you. How did she know it should have been her? Didn't you know it should have been her? So now it's her fault that you made a bookie decision. It's on her that you didn't choose the right one. So every part of this, there is literally no taking any responsibility. It's actually unbelievable. You made me want to leave the one I'm with. You knew it should have been. I should have been with you. Now tell me what I'm supposed to do now. See what you've done. Now you tell me what I'm supposed to do.
That's basically the song in a nutshell.
But the thing about it is, he says, before anything began between us, you were like my best friend. So let's go into this one now about male and female friendships.
Ooh.
So I'm going to ask a question. It's a question that's been asked for decades, many, many decades. They've even done studies, and I can go into some of this, which might bring to light actually some of Usher's behavior. But do you think, Louise, that males and females can be best friends? Now, as adults, the concept of a best friend, it doesn't necessarily apply. You have very close friends, you have friends that you're more intimate with than others, but can males and females have very strong platonic intimate friendships?
I think it's possible, but I just think everyone should know themselves. I think everyone should know what their capacity and their limits are. Some people know that they can't do it. They know they struggle. So just draw the lines,
Yeah.
draw the boundaries, don't venture into those areas. Other people know they can, maybe they're used to it. They've had lots of friends of the opposite sex growing up, and it's not an issue, and they can control themselves. They don't start having attraction for that person. They can manage it. So yes, absolutely, I think it's important that men and women are friends. Actually, I think that there's a lot that men can learn from women and vice versa. And I think it's good to learn how to not just view someone of a different gender through only a certain lens. I think it's a muscle one needs to develop and learn how to do. But I think when you're maybe in a relationship or you're married, because you said, can you have deep, platonic, intimate relationships? I think you've got to be a bit cautious, because really, if you're married now, the main person of the opposite sex you're meant to have that level of deep, intimate relationship with is your spouse, not a friend. And it could interfere or intervene, and you've got to think about how your spouse will feel doing that. So yeah, I would just say it's going to be a bit different for everyone, but everyone should know themselves.
Yeah.
Know yourself.
100% agree with that. I still err on the side of caution, though. And I actually am going to read this study to you that actually breaks it down why I think you should err on the side
Let's
of caution.
hear it.
Because I do feel that when it comes to male-female relationships, and it is, I think naturally in a perfect world, men and women would be able to be friends. We would. It would be no different to being friends with female, male, male in a normal world. But I think because of the way that we've come up, I think because of the way we've been socialized, because of the whole kind of dating culture and all this type of stuff that happens, it often ends up that someone develops attraction. And I especially think it happens as you get older. Picking start getting slimmer. Yeah, picking start getting slimmer. So everyone start, you're looking for that potential life partner. And so now anybody that comes along that is quite nice, and because you're not going to be friends with someone that's not nice. So maybe you meet someone that's nice and kind of attractive. There's always that lingering thing. This is my view. There's always that kind of lingering thing in the back of your mind that, there's a potential. You might not act on it, but it's there. And it only takes the right circumstance, i.e. homeboy being super vulnerable with you, sharing his life, all of this, whatever, or vice versa, for that little thing in the back to now awaken, into something else.
You see, but isn't that really what the problem is? Because I don't like wasting time. And I don't like, we were talking about this earlier about things not being clear, being in the middle, being in limbo. I don't do this limbo stuff. Either you're my friend or you're not. Like, there's no, okay, let's have a special category for let's see what could happen in the future. No. I think that's where the problem actually lies. But let's hear this study.
But people do it, and they don't. But it's subconscious. It's subconscious, though.
Oh, it's subconscious. Is it really that subconscious?
Well, I think that as well. Is it really that? But it is. It's kind of subconscious, where there's just that lingering thing. And so anyway, this study, they did a study, everything like 2012 or something, and they had all, how many participants was it even in this study? I think they had like over 100 participants of male and female platonic friendships, and they were all in uni, and they got them together and they asked them a load of questions about romantic attraction to the partner. And you know what they found? They found that the majority of men, in their minds, felt that their female platonic friend, was romantically interested in them. They felt their female friend was romantically interested in them. And those same females had no attraction to these men whatsoever.
So there's
And
delusion there then.
the study
Is it a
shows
delusion?
that men are more likely to perceive women who are nice to them and kind to them as having a romantic attraction. And what that then does is it awakens that thing in these men
Yeah.
that then builds that kind of bond. So when Usher says, "You were like my best friend, I could talk to you," homegirl could have just been being nice. Homegirl could literally see Usher as just her brethren, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Like, he coming to
She
me with
never
his
knew.
problems. She could be telling her friend, "Oh, here Usher comes again with his problems. I gotta talk to Usher. Give me a minute." You know, she could have no clue. But Usher feels, because of how he sees himself, and this is what this study shows, that men see themselves, you know, they see that women would naturally be attracted to them. Maybe it's society, maybe it's patriarchy, I don't know. But he will feel that she has a romantic attraction. So as he's talking to her and she's opening up, he started to feel like, yeah, you're making me want to leave the one I'm with, because you like me. You have a romantic interest. And these times
she was just being nice.
She was just being nice. And the studies show that it actually gets worse in age. So as men get older, they're even more like, so it was like, the men were 4 times more likely to think that the woman had a romantic attraction to them when they were young. But then as they got older, like 10 years older, they were 10 times more likely to think that the female had an attraction to them. So I think, again, for me, I think like scientifically, this is just one study and it's a bit of fun, but you know, I think scientifically there may be some reasons why someone is always going to get the wrong end of the stick when it comes to this male-female thing. If you're nice and you're a lady, that could be deemed as attraction, and that could, you know, cause things to go where they don't need to go.
It puts women in a bit of a bind, doesn't it? Because
it does.
If you're withdrawn and you ignore a guy, you're called hostile. They might even shout at you in the street.
Yeah.
But now, if you're friendly and nice, they think you like them, and you might get unwanted attention. So it's just lose-lose. How are you going to win?
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
This is why we need to make it normal for there to just be platonic interaction. Because I'm quite a friendly person. I'm quite warm, and I think everyone should receive warmth, whether you're a man or a woman.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is where if we just make it normal for there to be platonic, friendly, nice, kind, warm interactions between male and females, we might not get that situation where men are thinking, "Oh, she's into me just because she's being nice." And it could stem from the fact that, you know, maybe when a woman isn't into a guy, she's the opposite. She's mean or
cold rather than being warm. Exactly. And it's true. And I guess, again, that's like high school coming up, where if you don't like a guy, you're just like, talk to the hand type of thing. Whereas you can still be nice, you can still be kind. And so I guess, you know, maybe men grow in that. So when a woman is kind and is smiley and is nice, and she's not saying talk to the hand, you're like, they think, she must like me. So so there's that. So I thought that was quite interesting. But then I also think the other thing about it is, regardless of whether you think someone has an attraction or not, when you're in a relationship, isn't it just imperative to just lay out boundaries? Should you just not have boundaries? So where he says, you know, when I had problems with my girlfriend, you were the one that I would tell. Exactly. I mean, I have a bit of an issue with that. I do take issue with, you know, someone who has a partner sharing their problems with just some random female. I personally think, and Lou, you can speak to this, but I think there should be an agreement between the two of you that if you have issues, like, who is the safe person that I can actually talk to? And you should have that agreement between the two of you. Like, this is the person that I would talk to. I actually think it's better sometimes to talk to couples as opposed to individual people, but I don't want to make that a rule, because there are single people who actually can give a lot of wisdom and insight and be very supportive. But I think there has to be kind of some mutual agreement so that it's like safe territory, and there's not going to be any room for this like stuff, you know, to start picking up. I don't know what your views are on that.
I totally agree. I think that you should agree who the people are that you're going to talk to. And it should be people who, I think I remember saying this to you once, if you're a wife or the girlfriend, whatever, you should talk to someone that is going to defend your
Yeah,
husband or your wife, that sees the best in them and that's
yeah,
going to help you, challenge you and your thinking and help you see it a different way. Likewise, if you're the husband and you're or the boyfriend and you're the guy, you should talk to someone that's going to defend your wife or your girlfriend and help you be the one that also sees it in a different way. So no one's saying, yeah, I always thought they were rubbish anyway, or kind of
yeah,
enjoying the fact that you're having challenges or problems. And I think those people should be pre-agreed. I do agree,
yeah,
because it's not fair to walk into a room and you don't know that your wife has told some of the people in there about something you did a few weeks ago, and vice versa. I think you should agree who those people are. They're people that you trust, people that in terms of whether they should be single or married, I think that there's benefit in speaking to people that have experienced that
yeah,
challenge, the challenges and
yeah,
the things that can come from marriage. And that's more what it is, as opposed to, oh, you shouldn't talk to single people. But yeah,
yeah,
like you said, there are people who are single that will have great insight, actually, and people who are divorced too, who will
yes.
have good insight as well. So, but I think the main thing is pre-agreement, and people who you've discerned and aren't going to latch onto it or capitalize on the issues, and that will rather help you see your spouse in a good light again.
Exactly. And that's what this girl should have been doing. So if he's coming to you saying, oh, she did this, she did that, you should be
Mm-hmm.
gradually pushing him back to
Mm-hmm.
her
Mm-hmm.
and saying, go
Yeah.
and tell her. But she's
Mm.
great. She's done this for you and that for you. Listen, that is
Do you
your
think she wasn't
girl.
doing that?
It's hard to
Because it seems like
tell.
Usher's a bit delusional. Because
It does
she
seem
might have
it,
been doing
doesn't it?
that.
She could have been doing that, and then he's now forcing it more by saying, "But you knew it. You knew it should have been you. You knew we should have been together from the beginning. Look what you've done." We don't know how
Yeah.
this lady's feeling. We don't know, but he makes it sound like it's mutual between them, because he's talking about thinking about a ring and all the things that come along with it. So if you're thinking about a ring, I mean, those conversations he's having with this lady, they must be quite deep. I think they must have had to have crossed the
Mm.
level of, I'm just sharing my problems. It
Mm-hmm.
has to have gone
Mm-hmm.
into, we're both exchanging our dreams and our worlds with one another. Because otherwise, would he be thinking about a ring? It's a lot, for a guy to be saying he's not even thinking about a ring with the main girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But he's thinking about a ring with this side chick. Or she's not even a side
Mm-hmm.
chick, but she's just a friend. So that says that there's been quite a lot of, I think, boundaries that have probably been
Yes,
crossed
yes, yes,
between the
yes.
two.
So was she Usher's friend or the girlfriend's friend first?
It seems that
She
she
was
could have been
Usher's
either.
friend.
She could have been either. She actually could have been Usher's friend, because he says, you're the one that hooked us up knowing it should have been you. So maybe she was Usher's friend and she said, I've got a really good friend for you. And you know what,
Mm.
though? Maybe Usher's got a point, because maybe she has been a bit scandalous, because you know that there is those type of women that do those weird things just because they want to have some control over you, or
Mm.
they'll say stuff like, oh, I've got a really good girl for you. And maybe
Mm.
he's right. Maybe she did know all along that she wanted it to be her, but she wasn't bold enough, or there was just some box he didn't tick at the time that she felt, oh, I don't really want to go there for myself, but I'll
Mm.
introduce him to my friend. And maybe because we've talked about this before, we talk about frenemies. And sometimes the person you're with just starts looking attractive because you're with them.
Mm. Oh.
Maybe Usher, she weren't feeling him. Usher wasn't her speed. But when now she introduced him to the friend,
And
and
he seemed attractive.
she saw how the friend
Mm.
and him, things were popping off. It was beautiful. It was, a lovely romance. She started to think, oh,
Mm.
so there's so many angles to this.
Yeah, I mean,
Make me wanna.
you're you're right, actually, because for him to start saying, "Oh, I'm thinking about rings and and
It's
having
a
children
lot.
with you," they've
Listen,
already gone quite
they've
far
gone
across
deep.
like they've gone past the boundary, multiple boundaries,
They've sprinted
isn't
way
it?
across that boundary, 100%. They've
Yeah.
crossed all the lines. They've clearly crossed all the lines, for him to be making that statement. So Very, very, very deep. And it's just quite sad, really. So, question then. If you are a guy or a gal and you found yourself in a predicament where, this is happening to you, you're starting to develop feelings for somebody that is already in a relationship, putting out there, it could happen. Obviously, we don't need to act on everything we think, and we don't need to act on everything we feel. So what advice, Louise, would you have for that particular individual so they can cut that bond and move on with their life swiftly?
So the individual is having feelings for a friend.
Yes, for a friend who's potentially in a relationship, or maybe not, but they're having feelings for a friend, and it's not something that they should pursue.
Well, if the here's the thing, a great foundation for a relationship is friendship. So if that person is single,
yeah,
then there's not necessarily anything so wrong with it. But I think you've got to check why you're suddenly having feelings for that person. Is it because you're getting older and they're around and they're there? Or is it just because you've grown, you've matured, and you see certain qualities in them differently? And you've just naturally over time formed a good bond. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but you've got to make sure it doesn't become a habit and a pattern where every single friend is suddenly you're not seeing them in a platonic way, because like I said, we've got to prove that it is possible for men and women to have platonic relationships. And I think it's such a shame if that's jeopardized just because we start having feelings. I'd also say they need to check that the feelings aren't just physical.
Yes.
And that they're genuine, that they mean something, that it's about the person, their character, their values, their beliefs, and who the person is. Not just, they had a glow up.
Yeah,
and now
100%,
suddenly you're seeing them differently.
Yeah.
Or you're seeing other women or men attracted to them because of the glow up. It's got to be genuine, because you don't want to ruin a friendship over something that's useless and meaningless. Now, if they're in a relationship, though, you're gonna have to pull back.
Pull back.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pull back, especially if you find that you like them in a more, it's deeper, and actually you think I could really have a relationship or a future with this person. You've really got to step back and give it some room and some space, and possibly, depending on the person, be honest with them and explain that you don't think the friendship can go further. But I wouldn't say because you like them, because that could put a seed in their mind, right? Because now they know, Claire likes me.
Yeah, 100%.
Now I know.
Yeah.
Or Bob
so
likes me.
Yes.
So now it could start to become temptation for them.
Yeah.
But so you don't want to say, it's because I really like you and I think we have a future together. But you may want to be honest about the fact that, you're stepping back from the friendship. Because I just don't think it will work. You'll end up like Usher now saying, what shall I do? Because I'm thinking about marrying you, and you're in a relationship. It's just not going to work. And anything that's going to have a bright future should have a good foundation. And starting the foundation with, lying or going behind someone's back or cheating, it's not going to be the best foundation to start on.
I think stats show that, and stats do show that, if you kind of cheated to be in a relationship, oftentimes the cheating does continue because it's a pattern of behavior. Yeah. So it's this thing of, it will be different with me. You might be the outlier. you might be the outlier, but chances are, if somebody lacks self-control, if they're not able to honor a commitment, you won't be the outlier, and there'll be another girl that comes along, and that girl will be making Usher 1 or 2, and you'll find yourself in the same predicament. So you just need to run a mile. So home girl that is, Usher's friend, I guess our advice to her would be, girl, you need to quit this. You need to stop these chat-ins, stop the late night pillow talk, stop hearing all his problems. Let's just separate and let's just keep it moving.
Because it doesn't sound like there's any loyalty to the girlfriend in this song.
None whatsoever.
Usher doesn't have any loyalty. The friend doesn't have any
loyalty.
I mean,
that poor
just
girl.
If you feel it, Terrible.
You don't have to act on everything
Terrible.
you feel. So there's clearly no loyalty. It's awful. It's actually awful if
Mm-mm.
you put yourself in the position of the lady that's the one that the other one, not the one that you want, not the one that's making it wanna. It's actually terrible, and it's awful. You know that she's in that position, not knowing that he's opened his heart and is being vulnerable with this other human being. So Usher, we're not feeling you in this track. We're not
No.
fans whatsoever.
But come, why is Usher not taking accountability?
And this is the other thing, right? This is the other thing. And maybe it's because of guilt. Guilt, right? People who have, and maybe Usher has a particular personality type, but there are people who don't like to feel guilty. They don't want to feel any sense of guilt about what they're doing. They are always right, they are always righteous, and they are always justified. So Usher has to find every other reason for why he's doing what he's doing, as opposed to, I'm just a jerk who lacks self-control, and I'm just actually being hurtful to this lady I'm with, and I don't really love her, even though I'm saying I do, but clearly you're doing something that's hurting her. So if you were to say really loved her, you'd be honest with her, you'd be open, you'd share all the stuff that's going on. Because I think alongside love, which is a choice that we make as opposed to just a feeling that happens, there are things that you do. There are actions that you take. If you're committed to someone, you'll be honest with them, you'll be vulnerable, even if it's hurtful, but you'll share the truth. You're not going to betray someone's trust. So he isn't acting like he loves this lady, and I just think, honestly, he just doesn't want to feel the pain of it. So he's blaming someone else and projecting all the feelings he should feel. He's putting it on the other lady, and he wants her to feel the guilt because she's making him do it. You made
He
me
wants
do
her to feel the guilt. He wants her to make the decisions.
To make the decision.
The shame, everything.
Yeah.
So that's really a warning. That should be a warning to her. To not even go there.
So
because
true.
It's not going to work out well for her.
Yeah. Because he'll do the same thing to her. And also, even just in their relationship, you can imagine the type of relationship it is when somebody never takes accountability for their actions.
Oof,
the gaslighting.
It's very painful.
Gaslighting. You're always wrong. They're always right. There's always
your feelings and emotions are neglected.
100%.
And that can happen in any relationship.
Yes.
It can happen in, with friendship.
Yes.
Colleagues, family members,
definitely,
your spouse, your partner. It can really happen across the board. And I just think that taking accountability and responsibility produces the best outcomes. So if we were to rewrite this song and Usher was to say, do it in a way where he's not projecting and he's taking responsibility, it would be more like, oh wow, I have betrayed the person I'm with because I'm now starting to lust after and want someone else. I shouldn't be doing that. Let me pull back,
exactly,
right, apologize and put the right boundaries in place that should have been there, so that I can actually give this current relationship I'm in a chance.
Exactly.
See, better outcome. But by the end of the song, he's confused.
He's confused.
Because he's not taking responsibility.
Because he's not taking responsibility. And really, the only quagmire should be, when do I tell her what's happened, and how do I tell her what's happened? That's be his only, that should be his only problem with what's going on, is how do I tell this lady that this happened? But he's not once said that. Not once has he said, how do we sit down and tell her what's transpired between them? Not once has he said that. So
we're disappointed, Usher. We're disappointed.
So disappointed. Usher was the first concert I ever went to.
Really?
Fun fact, at 15 years old, I dressed up.
Wow.
I went with a girl from school. I think her name was Danielle. I want to say her name was Danielle. It was Danielle. I don't think it was Daniela.
Is music a bit too
Yeah, way too. We were 15. But what did we know? We went. It was too great. He brought a lady up on stage. It was like Las Vegas style. It was super grown up. We were just like, Usher. We didn't get. It's only looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, he actually did that on stage. He brought a lady up on stage from the crowd.
And isn't that a bit dangerous? How would he know the age of the girl as well. If there's a lot of teenagers and things like that in
Exactly.
there,
This is what I mean.
I think
But
some artists are getting in trouble for that. Like Drake
yeah,
recently, I think got in
yeah.
trouble for bringing. Well, a video circulated of him bringing a teenager up onto stage, and he was being a bit inappropriate with her, and then she said her age, and she was underage. Basically.
This is what I mean. Usher was very inappropriate with this lady, from what I remember. I remember thinking maybe she must have been planted, or she was like an actual dancer. Because when you're young, you just think, oh, it can't be. But no, like, it was very inappropriate. We really shouldn't have been there. You know, we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But you know,
Shouldn't
you're
have
15.
been there.
It was fun. Funny enough, it was my friend's mum that dropped us and everything. But they don't know. See, back in the day, our parents didn't know. They didn't know, what the music was really about. But yeah, so that's a fun fact. That Usher was the first gig that I ever went to. But yeah, so Usher, very disappointed. It's very disheartening to think that you would not only, go across, go through. Why can't I speak? What's the word I'm looking for? Go across all these boundaries and pursue this friend and share all your stuff from your relationship with her. Not only would you do all of that and have no sort of, regard for your own relationship and commitment, but you would blame her for the fact that you've done this and you've lacked self-control and you have found yourself in this predicament. Wholly disappointing. And that's what we're gonna say is we hope this is just the music and this is not a reflection of life, Usher. We hope this is just a song. It's just a song. It's just the music. What?
I think we should do a few more Usher songs to see if he redeems himself. You've already said My Way. I mean, actually, when I think of his catalogue, he's a bit of a hot mess, isn't he? Because I'm thinking of Confessions.
Think he does. Listen, Confessions.
Then there's another one called Let It Burn. He keeps doing dirty, actually, and then being the victim.
And then
he's always the victim.
Always the victim. This is what I mean.
Something.
My way. She likes it my way. I'm not really sure if that's great. It's very endearing. I don't know about Usher, nice and slow. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but no, you know what? Even the whole Confession series.
Yeah,
it was like a series.
Yeah, but wasn't that true to life though? Wasn't that true to life?
Apparently,
that actually based on some life circumstance?
He might have said it was true to life to sell records. Though sometimes they do that. They say, "Oh, this is a documentary."
Yeah,
because Chili, from TLC, the one he was meant to have cheated on, she was in the video.
Yeah, she was in the video.
So I was like, well, you can't be that upset. Exactly. Did it really happen?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, even that whole series, he cheats, and then he's like, oh, please don't leave me. I'm going to confess. At least I'm confessing.
Exactly. I remember.
That I cheated.
That's it. He says, I hope you can respect the fact that I'm man enough to tell you, the woman I love, that I'm having a baby by a lady I barely even know. Do you remember that?
I remember. That was his voicemail.
Yes, that was the voicemail recording. Before he did the actual thing. I hope you can respect the fact I'm man enough. It's like, no, brother, no. Respect the fact you're man enough. Come off the line.
Can you imagine trying to manipulate?
Exactly.
So that the lady thinks, oh, okay, at least you're telling me you're a real man. No. You would never have done it in the first place.
100%.
So we're seeing a pattern, aren't we? Because I can't think of a song where he redeems himself, really.
I can't think
That's like a healthy love song. I can't think of a healthy love song that he's written.
No. Even Superstar, I'll be your groupie because you're my superstar. Yeah. That's not healthy. I can't think of one.
Let's look.
My boo. What do you think of My Boo?
Keys, though,
My Boo. That's all right. But we'll have to. We need to break that one down because actually, when that song came out, we thought it was super romantic. I thought My Boo was so romantic, but actually, maybe it's problematic if we really were to break it down. So we got to do that one.
Yeah, because you think it is, and then you start reading the lyrics. This is a problem. This is promoting.
You know what? It started when we were younger. You were mine. It's possession already. I'm like, see, My Boo is already it's messed up. How is she yours from you were younger? See, nah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
Let's look into it.
we've got to look into it. Right. Key takeaways from this one, Lou. Usher, make me wonder.
I think just, you know what? The way to have things just turn out better is just to take responsibility and accountability. I think we just end up in more problems when we project, blame others. And then the second is just because we feel it, we don't have to act on it, you know? And boundaries. Boundaries. I think we've got to know ourselves, whether we can have platonic relationships with men and women or not. We've just got to be honest. And if we know we can't do it, we've got to put those, you know, robust, strong boundaries in place. And if we can do it, then we'll reap a lot of positives and benefits from learning how to just interact with the opposite sex in a genuinely friendly way, an honest way.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think definitely take baby steps. And it's true, self-awareness is so key. Self-awareness is the key here. There's nothing wrong if you're somebody that is going for a thing where maybe you're looking for a life partner and you are finding that, you know, every person of the opposite sex you talk to, you're thinking potentials. It's nothing wrong, but just make sure you put the right things in place and, you know, do some self-reflection. Like, you know, maybe you're just going for a season, certain things are triggering you, whatever it might be, but just be aware and put the right methods in place. And that way you help yourself, you help, you know, the other people who are involved, and, you know, everybody avoids trauma and damage. So that's what I would say. I think we're going to end this episode here. So thanks so much, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
And we'll catch you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Lyrically Speaking podcast. We're so grateful for all of you, our listeners. We don't want this episode to be the end of us connecting. So tell us what your key takeaways were. They're probably different to ours, so we'd love to hear them. You can tweet us with your takeaways or leave them as a comment on our social media post or our YouTube video for this episode. We are at Lyrically Speaking Podcast across all platforms, including Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, except X, where you can find us as at Lyrically Pod. You can find Louise on Twitter and Instagram as at Carlo Coaching, that's Carlo with a K, and me, Omar, as at Omar.fan.